Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here for this press conference. Good afternoon. It's great to see members of the media here. Also see our supporters group here as well, Gary as well, Kingston May Production and JFF Live. Thank you very much for your presence. And to everybody that is here, we appreciate the time, especially after the squad announcement, which was a few moments ago. To comments this afternoon, we're going to hear.
Simon, sorry, I'm gonna log out and come back in because the video is not coming on.
Okay, no
Go
problem.
ahead, yeah.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead, Mr. Chung. So, folks, we're gonna, in terms of this update that was requested from our General Secretary, Mr. Dennis Chung, he'll be providing some financial updates in relation to the quarter and in relation to other updates as well. And he'll also have beside him the president of the Jamaica Football Federation, Mr. Michael Ricketts, with him as well. So, once they log back on, we're going to throw over to them. They're going to give their remarks, both President and Mr. Chung, and then we will open the floor for questions from members of the media. So that is what the format will be like for this afternoon. So we have Mr. Chung and the President with us. Once the video is turned on, then we will be able to start. So we're just waiting on that. I know the audio is okay, so we're just waiting for the video now to turn on, Mr. Chung.
Yeah. I don't know. Video is not coming up. Um,
I'm pressing ask it to ask to start video. So you should get a prompt to turn it on. Should.
yeah, hold on there. I guess everybody knows how I look anyway, so um,
All right. Try one more time, and if not, then you can proceed with President. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Okay.
No, it's not coming up. I don't know what the issue is. But we can't proceed on the chat then. So
Yes.
press I know.
Okay, let me just use this opportunity formally to acknowledge the presence of the respective journalists who are representing media houses. We just want to use this opportunity to highlight some of our fiscal management and the prudence with this has been done over the last couple of years. So Dennis will go into all the details, but I would certainly want to use the opportunity to express my regard and to say thanks to the secretariat, of course, headed by the Gensec himself. And it would be extremely remiss of me not to mention the work of our accounts department, headed, of course, by Grace Lewis. When we decided that we wanted to chart a new way forward, we took the bold decision to replace a number of our staff members in the accounts department, and that in itself was tough, but we had to make that decision if we really wanted to craft a path that would bring us to some level of prudency. So we did make that bold decision, and certainly it has paid off um, immensely. And the JFF now can be very proud of the record from a financial standpoint. When our auditors can give us this level of credit, then certainly we need to acknowledge and appreciate the work of our staff members. So we, of course, would want to use this opportunity to highlight some of our achievements and certainly to make Jamaica and the world aware of what would have transpired over the last few months from managing our finances. So again, let me congratulate Dennis, let me congratulate Grace, and of course, the accounts department of course, FIFA would have given us a lot of support. And there were some individuals inside of FIFA who really would have stood up with us and would have given us that kind of Philip, give us that kind of support that would provide the catalyst for us to go forward. So Dennis, he being the finance person, will go into all the details as we try to make Jamaica aware of where we are at from a financial standpoint.
Thank you very much, President. Much appreciated. Mr. Chung, you can go ahead now.
Thank you, Simon. Good afternoon, everyone. I first and foremost would like to say that, all of this could not happen, and it started with a decision made by the president. And therefore, the president was a visionary that wanted to achieve a purpose. And, we have to recognize that, because without that first decision of the president saying that this is what I want to do, then it would not happen. I just wanted to highlight where we are. I know we've been a little late in coming to you with the first quarter numbers, because we're normally out of the blocks earlier. But because we were upgrading our accounting system and introducing new technology, we had a little glitch. And certainly the staff has worked very hard to ensure that the upgraded technology is in place, which makes it a lot more efficient in terms of the operations. But now we're back on track in terms of getting the information out timely, and we should see April soon also internally. Let me just point out a few things that we had set out with in terms of the objective and where we are today. So we know that at the end of 2024, we'd have ended the second year of surplus of over $60 million. I've heard comments, someone said to me that, well, it's easy to make the surplus with the Adidas funding, and I agree. The Adidas has been very instrumental. That was negotiated by the president initially. But I'd like to point out the efficient management of the internals people, that the revenues in 2024 were actually less than the revenues in 2023, but we made a larger surplus in 2024, which shows that it boils down to good financial governance, supported, of course, by FIFA, who were very instrumental over that period. So in terms of the first quarter, where we are, we've recorded for the first 3 months of this year a surplus of $137 million. That surplus will go down slightly in April, because we don't expect that we're going to have any income really in April. And because of the activity, we should have a slight deficit, but it's still going to be a positive surplus, we expect, at the end of April. And certainly going into June and July, it's going to be a challenging time for the Federation. But I think that what I've seen in terms of the work being done by the staff, they're holding very well to budgets. So commendation to that. So I expect it to go down a little bit, but at the first quarter this year, we're at 137 million in surplus. What that has allowed us to do is that it has allowed us, and under the current president, there are many firsts from an administrative point of view. And for the first time, as far as I can see or remember, the JFF now has a positive equity position at the end of the first quarter. So that's a very significant achievement. What it means is that our total assets cover our total liabilities for the very first time. that now, I'm a accountant, so I look into the balance sheet and I see where the JFF has improved significantly over last year, March, whereby if you were to look at what we call the current ratio as accountants, removing, of course, the deferred revenue, which I think is not really a liquidity problem for us, because that represents uniforms or equipment and gear that we haven't used yet. We would have moved from a current ratio of 0.37 to 0.89 this year, which means that when it's at 1 to 1, it means that your current assets are totally covering your current liabilities, which means that the liquidity situation at the JFF would have improved. One of the things that helped us, and commendations again to the staff, Grace in particular, for working on this, is that we have secured, which we expected, under the amnesty program, a write-off of $66 million in penalties and interest on taxes that were owed long before. And I must tell you that when this president took over as JFF president, he would have inherited a tax liability of in excess of $400 million. Today, that tax liability is effectively zero. There's a $9 million balance in penalty and interest, which relates to other statutories, which we're working to get that written off through because of the amnesty also. So we're effectively zero. We don't owe anything in terms of principal on taxes. So that's another very good sign for the JFF. And effectively, in terms of our age payables, we're effectively up to date. There's a slight amount, I understand, maybe 2 or 3 months that's due to the players, which will be cleared up in short order. But that's coming from when the president took over 2 to 3 years of payments that were due to them. So that also is a significant improvement. So we're in a good situation. If you look at our cash flow statement, we actually are recording a net increase in cash resources for the first 3 months, as opposed to a net decrease in cash resources for the first 3 months of last year. So we're seeing significant improvements in the financial standing of the JFF. And I think, as the president always says, that now sets a platform for us to focus on the development of football, because you really can't do anything unless financially you're in a good position. And this was the same approach that FIFA and CONCACAF took. And they always speak about it, that when they were having issues, they first stabilized from a financial governance point of view, and then they were able to expand the football from that. So I also want to recognize the supporters groups, that we work with, who have been very instrumental in helping us to get here. They've supported us in terms of the streaming. Right now, JFF controls its own content, and we are actually earning from streaming of our content, not just the games, but other content that we create. And I know Gary is on and Kyle is on, who supports us with that. So JFF for 4 months now is actually earning money from the YouTube streaming that we do, and that is being expanded further. We're seeing new sponsorships coming on. We announced 3 about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and you're going to hear about some more that's coming on. So we're in a pretty decent position. I never yet want to say that, being a financial person, that you're out of the woods. One of the things you must never do is spend future income, because once you do that, then you always run into problems personally or as an organization. So I'm pretty sure that we will stick to the guns. The policies and procedures that have been put in place over the past year and a half has helped to improve significantly, along with the monitoring of FIFA, who has helped us significantly also. But we have to keep on that path for football and for Jamaican football in particular, because we can't afford to get back into the situation. In fact, it would be a serious indictment on anyone who gets us back into the situation that we were in. So I just want to close by saying, you know, thanks to the president who saw this vision he wants to achieve, and because of that, he has stuck to it. He has gotten the JFF into a situation where, we're a positive equity, which is a significant accomplishment. We have removed the going concern qualification that has been on the audit statement for maybe over 25 years. We have a tax compliance certificate in place. We have almost a 1-to-1 current ratio on the books, and we are showing surpluses, which will strengthen the JFF and strengthen the resources that's available for development of football, amongst other things. Thank you also to the supporters groups, also, Kyle, Huntley, Errol, for the support that they've given us to expand football. Thank you also to the staff and the marketing people, Gario, Avery, Tanya Lee Perkins, who has come on and, voluntarily done a significant job for us. It takes everyone to pull everything together, and I want to just say thanks to everyone, because it really are these people who have got us to this situation. And of course, thank you to Grace and her team in accounts, who has worked tirelessly and taken a lot of abuse, I should say, to get us to where we are today. And we hope that as a JFF that we have done justice to it, and the public who loves football and follows JFF football is happy with where we are. I know 2 to 3 years ago we were not the most liked persons around, but we had an objective, we stuck to it, and we've gotten here. So we're doing it for football, we're doing it for Jamaica, and I hope that people are happy with where we are today. So I'll close with that, Simon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chung. Greatly appreciate that. Members of the media, this is your opportunity now. We kindly ask you to raise your hand, and after you're indicated, then you can pose your question, whether it is to Mr. Chung or Mr. Ricketts. Okay, so this is the moment now. Raise your hand, and once you're called upon, then you'll get the opportunity to ask any questions. So if you can please go ahead. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Chung or Mr. Ricketts? Again, raise your hand if you do. If not, okay, we have a question here from Wade. Good afternoon, Wade. Go ahead.
Good day, all. Wade here from IRFM. It's nice to hear that the JFF is now in a better place financially. So my question is, do you have any objectives or any initiatives you'd like to carry out locally now that the federation is doing much better financially?
Yeah, man. Obviously, our development program must now get priority. And like Dennis has said, that now that we have achieved what we have set out to achieve over the last 2 or 3 years, it's time now to pay attention to other components of the sport. So we definitely will be going full speed ahead as it relates to our grassroots program, or total development program, or under 15s, under 13s, on either side of the gender, to ensure that step by step we address every single component of the sport.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much. Thanks very much, Wade. Jason, afternoon, go ahead.
Afternoon, Simon. Afternoon, President Ricketts and
Yes, sir.
General Secretary Chung. Jason Hall, Jason Guna TV here. My question is for Mr. Chung. It was reported in the media in Jamaica that you will be resigning from your post of the General Secretary. I just wanted to ask, is there any truth to those reports? And
That
also,
that 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 is not for this press conference, Jason. We'll address that another time, man. And the president had addressed it sufficiently.
oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, my question then would be, just due to the fact that, obviously in the professional field, you are going to be offered other jobs, other places. How confident are you that a framework is now in place that the next general secretary can use to ensure that we stay in the
You're trying
financial
to ask the
situation we're
question
in
in
now?
another way.
I mean,
You can take
I
it that
could
way,
take
but,
that.
I don't think so.
I could take that, and I've said on a previous forum that until I have gotten a letter of resignation from Mr. Chung, then we treat that as hearsay. I have not, and the show goes on. I mean, then it would have played a major role in reorganizing, especially the commercial aspect of the JFF, so that we are now on solid financial footing. Like you said, it's very, very important, very critical that now that there's a base, that there's a framework from which we can launch other footballing events, then we must be very careful that we maintain this level of compliance, this level of being in a stable financial position. It makes no sense having been removed from restricted funding a month ago. In a few months, we go back. So it will be very, very important that we make use of this platform that has been laid, that we continue on that trajectory that will keep us financially viable.
And Jason, let me just answer this too. What we have developed here is our processes and policies. So, we in working in conjunction with FIFA, especially, and our auditors, our external auditors, we have managed to develop the processes, we have the personnel in place. So it is not no one individual who who sit to the controls in here. It is a system that we have. So, as the president says, the will is here to ensure that we move the thing forward. We still have a lot to do. We've started on some of that. You look at what's happening with the streaming, the marketing side of it. That team is working very well. And as the president said, the development. But we have some objectives that we still want to achieve from a commercial point of view. By no means that we're done with it. And I think that we're getting somewhere with it. And I think that you'll see it continue to grow from here.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate that. Do we have any further questions? If not, thank you very much for your time, President Ricketts. Mr. Chung, thank you very much for your time as well this afternoon, members of the media. You will get the recording of this quite shortly. And to everybody, have a pleasant rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Simon.
Thank you. Thank you.